You're watching New to the Street. I'm Ken F. Saroff. I want to talk to the company Swarm, which is from the Bay Area and Berlin, with the company's co-founder, Timo. Welcome to New to the Street.
Thanks very much, Ken.
It's our pleasure. So talk to me right now for people just looking in. When I hear the word swarm, I think of bees flying around.
Yeah.
That's really the only time you ever use the word swarm. But for you guys, it's a little bit different.
It's a little bit different, but there's a connection to that connotation. So basically, Swarm is a blockchain solution for co-ownership of high-value assets. So the idea being that if you tokenize assets, then you can have multiple owners taking part of the, let's say an investment or owning a property together.
And what type of assets are we talking about here?
We're talking about real estate funds, private equity funds, venture capital funds, anything that has like a high value or high threshold to get into associated with it, so that you would only be able to buy into it if you had like several $1 million.
And what is the advantage of buying a high asset fund using Swarm versus conventional currency?
Well, the tokenization allows a broader audience to access these assets. So today, if you want to buy into them, you can use traditional currency. It's just that you need a few $1 million to buy in. So that's really the main difference.
How is it more advantageous to use Swarm to purchase a high asset versus using conventional currency? Do you split the difference when you're using Swarm tokens versus regular cash?
Not really. I mean, it's still the same purchase. You're still purchasing the same asset. It's just the process and the efficiency around how you do that that's different.
And what is the update with Swarm right now?
Well, so last year there was a lot of speculative investment going into the crypto space. Now this year the market has settled and basically gone down a lot. So a lot of people have, the sentiment has changed and the focus has shifted a lot more to asset-backed tokens, such as the ones that you find on Swarm. So when people are wondering about what is the underlying value of, let's say, Bitcoin or Ethereum or Ripple, the token, then it's quite difficult to quantify what the underlying value is.
What's the difference between an asset-backed token versus something that's not asset-backed?
Well, the way we define it and the way we look at it from a kind of Swarm's perspective is that if it's possible to get like a third party, such as a KPMG or somebody else, to actually audit the asset and put a stamp on and a value on it, such as that you can do on a hedge fund or a private equity fund or a real estate fund, then that's what we call an asset-backed token.
Are there other firms working with asset-backed tokens, and at the same time, who are the customers? Who can buy them?
Oh yeah, I mean, so other firms, with the shift of focus from cryptocurrency investment to asset-backed tokens, a lot of firms such as Galaxy Digital and Harbor and other people predominantly have shifted their focus from focusing on cryptocurrencies to asset-backed tokens. And that's just a natural evolution of, let's say the speculative era of crypto is pretty much over right now. So, we shift the focus to more fundamental things, such as asset-backed tokens.
And after someone bought asset-backed tokens, where can they sell them if they want to get rid of them?
So this is something that's coming predominantly next year. So we're seeing that a lot of licensed exchanges is what we call them. Basically marketplaces where you can buy and sell security tokens, which are, regulated securities. So in order to be able to trade those, you need to use licensed exchanges. And we have partnered with a firm called Open Finance here in the US, and we have a couple of other partners over in Europe as well. So that whole infrastructure is kind of being built out right now as we speak.
What's the next big thing going forward with Swarm? What's next?
Well, so the next big thing is really going from, like, let's say, a lower number of investment opportunities on Swarm to a very large volume of investment opportunities, because everybody has their own preference. If they want to buy into real estate, they're in one category. If they want to buy into tech, they're in another category. So the next big thing for us is just to kind of make the process of tokenizing assets very cost effective and straightforward. So today that's a super complex and expensive process. So we have there are companies in the US right now that are charging $250,000 to create the security token. So our view is that that process should be very cost effective, but still regulatory compliant.
They're almost like trying to force you not be able to afford to do it.
Yeah, and it's only kind of limits this to some institutional funds and so on. And we want to open it up for a broader kind of spectrum, in the sense that if a company wants to issue a token, it shouldn't be complicated, it should be straightforward, and they should be able to do it, in a regulatory way, but without spending a fortune on it.
And how can our viewers get started if they're interested in swarming to swarm, so to speak.
Best way to start with Swarm is to go to invest.swarm.fund.
Timo Liez from Swarm, thank you very much for joining us here on New to the Streets, Exploring the Block. Please come back and keep us updated.
Thank you, Ken. Thanks very much for inviting me.
Our pleasure.